musicians. Welcome to Coffee Talk with Stone Hart
And Sandra.
Sandra Lopez, and I want to thank Don Malador for videotaping
Cheers
this.
to Dawn. Good to see you.
And all our family and friends out there, thank you.
Thank you.
For tuning in. So, Stone, can you tell me a little bit about your background? Where were you born?
Livermore, California, and moved to Santa Cruz.
Cool. So did I. Awesome.
Excellent. We went to the same college,
We
right?
went to the same college.
Cabrillo.
Cabrillo College.
Awesome.
And so what started you on your musical journey?
Thank you. Well, let's see. I was very young when my family had instruments around. There were some acoustic guitars. My grandpa played a chromatic harmonica.
Oh, cool.
Big ones.
Oh,
and,
cool.
in Hawaii.
Uh-huh.
And he gave my dad a guitar as a teenager. My dad didn't really take to it so much, but he stashed the guitar. And then when I got old enough, I got a hold of it. And it was an old, like a Woolworth guitar.
Oh,
well, he had one pickup. It had like a volume and a tone or something. The amp had a volume and a tone, you know.
Yeah.
And so I started goofing around on that one, you know, and it was an electric guitar, and I just loved it. And
how old were you?
That was when I was about 13 years old when I got my grandpa's guitar.
Oh.
There was always acoustics laying around, but when I finally got that electric in my hand,
awesome.
and so that became my main guitar, but it was kind of on a loan basis. You know, they wanted to see if I really liked it or if I'd actually end up playing or not. But I ended up playing it so much that they basically gave it to me, but then I earned enough money to buy a second guitar, and that became kind of my main guitar. And so I always cherished the first one, you know. I wish I still had that. I probably ended up back in the closet, but...
oh, yeah, you know how much it'd be worth right now?
Right. Right on, but thank you for asking. And then I started playing music with a friend of mine, Mike Brown. I got to credit my buddy for having...
Shout out to Mike.
Yeah, Mike. It's Mike Nelson Bierbauer now. And we played a lot of music. We had a drum set handy. We had a couple guitars around. He played more of a Billy Gibbons style, and I played a little more like a Randy Rhoads type style. So we always blended our sounds together. And then I just started writing and playing.
Cool. What about your parents?
Yep, I had really good parents that actually my mom and dad got separated at an early age, but my dad stayed in my life, and my mom's always been very supportive with arts, and where my dad's always been very logical about work, and so I always had like one on each side, you know, trying to push me along.
That's cool. Sorry about the dog squealing.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Dog's Cerberus, and thank you, Mom and Dad, for supporting him.
Lots of others have been supportive of my life, and I thank everybody who's been a part of that, including you, including Don, and my loved ones. I got people here
That's what gets us here to this stage, huh? Our musical. Who were your musical influences?
Thank you. Well, I mentioned Randy Rhoads early on. Me and my brother had lots of vinyl that were like mostly like hard rock and metal. And so I was always like into the metal guitar sounds, and Randy Rhoads became my favorite. So I had to sit there and try to learn some of the leads, and then with some Judas Priest, I really liked a lot of that kind of stuff at that time. And then through time, I started kind of getting into other stuff. But main influences early on, I'd say, were, you know, bands like, you know, Ozzy and Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and
those are
bands like that.
major
Back in the day, things changed through time. I got a lot of new favorites.
Cool. So, what kind of musical background in your schooling?
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so I did end up going to Cabrillo, where you went. I took a couple courses at Cabrillo in SoCal, California, and I would go down there, you know, after my school days, and you know, I'd be doing a little bit of work in between. But I'd go to college, and I took a course called Free in the Natural Voice, which was really awesome. It was made for not only singers and instrumental musicians that have to be on stage and be active in front of people. It was made for teachers, poets, auctioneers. It was about really opening up that inside
like
voice.
An actor studio, but for musicians.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was great. Yeah.
Cool.
I loved it.
Who was your major influence on teachers?
Teachers. Yeah. I'd have to say Mr. Dick Hara.
Shout out to
Dick Hara. I wish he was with us.
Look
God rest Dick Hara. He taught me so much about. You know, he was my English teacher. He was also my dream analysis teacher. we did psychology courses together. So this guy really got me involved in exploring the English language, metaphorically speaking, which we would analyze stories, like he took Grimm's fairy tales and really broke it down, like what the ball represents, what the queen represents, what the dog represents. And so it really made sense to me as I was getting more involved in music and writing words and stuff. It really became my favorite course, my favorite teacher.
Ah, cool.
And he was a graduate from Yale.
Was he
Yeah.
really?
Mad
Like a
genius.
real college.
That guy was,
Wow.
yeah, I wish he was still with us, but I'll always
Lucky.
keep him in my heart, yeah.
So, what type of gear do you use?
Today I use a lot of different, I'm exploring with semi-hollow body guitars more, so anywhere between Gretsch, even a couple hollow body Ibanez's. I got a semi-hollow body Ibanez I like. A couple of my other guitars are Ibanez, it just seemed to go that way. Been one of my favorite companies, and of course I've got a Fender Stratocaster that I love.
Of course.
And, you know, that was my main, thanks to my mama.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah, it's the Stevie Ray Vaughan edition with a couple extra features on it. And love that guitar, yeah. And then I got this, it's kind of an off-brand, but this has been kind of my main
It's a
acoustic
beauty.
electric. I've been bringing that around doing solo beats.
Cool. Stone's going to do a song for us here pretty soon. And I've got a couple more questions here. Do you have a favorite show? We all have favorite shows and nightmare shows we've all been through. What are some of your favorites and your nightmare shows?
And are we talking about things that happen at a concert that have
things
been pretty crazy?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a good question. That could take all night. But there was a time where I ended up leaving the gig, which would have been, as we know, about 2:30 in the morning after the bars closing down, and we played
Right.
4 sets already, maybe 5. And one night down in Eugene, and I credit my brothers down there in the band Mr. Wizard. Dave Bach is the brilliant mind behind that band, we all know. And I was a part of the Mr. Wizard band for quite a few years. Well, we had a weekly gig down there, and we were the house band at the Red Rooster.
Red Rooster.
Speaking of, okay. Excuse me. So the Red Rooster was our mainstay. We were the house band. We played there 6 nights a week. Well, one night we get done at 2:30. I drive a half an hour to get home. You know, it takes a little while to wind down, so by
Yeah.
the time I get to bed, like an hour later, the phone rings, and it's Dave Bach, the leader of Mr. Wizard, on the phone, and I'm like, what are you doing calling me at this hour? We just went to bed. Dude, we just lost our gear last night. We just lost our gig and everything. And I'm like, no, come on. And he goes, he's like, no, it burnt down, man. When we left, he goes, we think it was someone who worked there, and they got the money and ran to Portland, and we lost thousands of dollars worth of gear in that fire. And there's a lot of stories that came out of that, though, that were really interesting.
God.
And the insurance didn't cover the thousands of dollars we lost.
Never does.
Fortunately, I had homeowners insurance. It helped a little bit. But let's see, on top of that, there's been a lot of crazy moments, but that place caught on fire. We lost the gig, we lost the gear, but we did utilize some of the old gear that burned down, and it became a part of a video we made.
Shoot me.
Yeah,
Shoot me,
Born of
sis.
Fire. I'm propping it right now. Check out Born of Fire.
Yeah, and also check out Dark Desires. This is Stone Hart's latest CD.
The newest one,
The
yeah.
newest CD.
Just got it mastered,
And
thanks to John Pripich.
Where can
And,
they find this?
Where we can find this? This is going to be available on iTunes and Spotify, CD Baby. It'll be available worldwide within days, so that we're that
Wow.
close. Yeah. And to explain the style, I mentioned earlier that I did a lot of metal as a kid, hard rock. Through time, I've tried a lot of different styles, and I like to try to merge styles like a lot of people do. I would say I've been calling this, for lack of a better name, Gothic Western Alternative Rock. And I don't know how but it seems like it's got all those elements.
Love that genre.
And I have to thank Warner Brothers. We could talk about that a little bit more, but I would not have this record had I not have connected with some people
That's
in
my
the industry.
next question. After I wanted to ask you, who have you opened for? What famous
Oh
bands
yeah!
have you opened
Wow,
for?
back in the day, I got to open for Loverboy, Quiet Riot, the Wailers, the Fabulous Thunderbirds. My very first opening was a band that not a whole lot of people may remember, but for me it was a big deal because as a teenager, I got to play the Mountain View Theater, which I'm sure you recognize that area.
Oh, yeah.
But I was a teenager and I heard that Tsunami was coming to town, and they had like 2 or 3 hits on the radio.
Tsunami, wow.
And I was like, oh god, this is cool. But then I guess who got to open up for them? And
No
that was a
way.
big deal.
Really?
That was my first big
man.
opening. Anyway, so then through time, we had a chance to open for YNT at the same club if we sold enough tickets, which we didn't quite make the goal. But 10 years later, I got to open for YNT with One Gun Shy up in Seattle. That was amazing. Getting to meet Dave Manichetti, he was always one of my favorite guitar players too as a teenager.
Yeah.
The guy's amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
Sings great, plays guitar excellent.
Yeah.
Dave Manichetti, so I got to meet him and open up for him.
Awesome.
Probably one of the biggest shows I opened up for within the last couple of years was Puddle of Mud, and they, being a modern alternative band, it was really kind of exciting to actually get to meet Wes and the guys, and we got to play with them down at the Whiskey A Go Go down in Hollywood. That was exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. It was a big deal. But and I got to meet Wes, and then we ended up having another chance to open up for them again up in Seattle. It would have been another 3 or 4 months later at El Corazon.
Wow.
Some others have been like the Fabulous Thunderbirds, Les Dudek, UK Subs came to town.
Guys don't mess around.
Yeah, lots of great opportunities. Quiet Riot, I don't know if I
Quiet
mentioned
Riot,
that was
right on.
fun. I got to meet Kevin DeBra. He was like twice as tall as me. Not hard to do, but
That's
I remember
awesome.
looking up at the guy and yeah.
Awesome, man.
God rest his soul too. Yeah, he left us
Plus,
too.
I want to put a plug in here for my old band, Saints of Mayhem, and I got to thank Don Malador for allowing me to have this opportunity. But my band, Saints of Mayhem, opened up for your band.
All right,
at
I remember that night.
Hard Rock
Cafe.
Hard
Yes.
Rock Cafe.
Good to see
So,
you again. That
it
was
was
great.
good to see you too, man.
Actually,
That
my
was
girlfriend's
awesome.
one of your biggest fans, by the way. And
That was a fun
she
night.
loves your bass playing and your stage rocking
I love
and all
her
that.
too.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
Awesome.
So back to you. What shows do you have coming up? Recording projects.
Cool. Thanks for asking. Yeah, a lot of stuff's happening now that the quarantine's taken over. We all lost our gigs, and we're doing what we can to like do things online, and maybe a few of us meet here and there. But right before the virus hit, I had the biggest opportunity land in my lap, and I have to thank these guys. First of all, Brad Hoagland, I got to thank you for connecting me with Pacific Rim talent. And I got a call. Actually, they called me up and they offered me my first casino gig again. And this is after years of not playing the casino circuit. That was an incredible call. But they said the gig was out in June, so I knew that it was a ways out. And I was like, God, that's great to have my foot back in the door. And as a solo artist, and then eventually, hopefully, they'll get the big room open again where we can bring full bands in.
Right.
That'd be cool. But I got to thank Brad for that, and I really am excited to be a part of Pacific Rim, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Well, no, not really. I was going to ask you, do you highly recommend them, like for bands who need a gig?
Yeah, I would pass that on to you as well.
Do you have to be a member of the union?
Well, I know that Stir Crazy was a big part of that. That's another Brad thing there. They had the regular gig there, and they were amazing. They had a great following. Unfortunately, they had to change the room size, and so now it's geared up for solo artists, duos, and then maybe a trio, but it has to be also.
So you highly recommend Pacific Rim?
Oh yeah. And
There's a great plug there because I might use them.
Yep, Pacific Rim. Thank you guys. I really am honored to be a part of that. That was a big deal, and then to hear about the virus, I kind of took the wind out of the sails. But I knew it was a ways
It's
out.
coming back.
We're getting there.
We're gonna come back.
Yeah, some of my friends are playing gigs again down in Eugene area. Keep on rocking, you guys. I can't wait to get back into that. That's exciting.
Yeah, hopefully soon gigs will be starting up. I know my gig for the SOBs are next month, starting June 6th, and so it's going to open up for everybody again. And I think it's going to be bigger. Do you think it's going to?
I think so. I think people are raring to go. Right?
So
you guys
too.
at home? I'm sure you are. Let's get some thumbs on that one.
Hey, and go ahead and text us on the chat line there if you have any questions. Don Malador is watching the video, and so if you have any questions for Stone, please please ask.
Hit me up, hit me up. Good to
I
see you
think
guys. I
anything-
kind of see you there. I know you're there.
Nothing's off limits.
Right on. Oh, all right. I'll try. Right on, Sandra. You're
Cool.
awesome. Thank you so much.
And thank you, man.
It's always a nerve-wracking thing when you're sitting here and doing
I
something
know.
like this, but thank you. It's been really comfortable.
So-
We got our little coffee talk
Coffee
going.
talk.
Coffee talk.
So halfway into this, I want to ask Tony if you'd be gracious enough to play a song.
Wow, thank you for asking. Yeah, that's another
You guys want a
nerve-wracking
song
thing.
out there? I do.
All right. Well, we're all here for this. So
Cool,
might
play
as
something,
well. I wasn't sure what to play today, but I thought about it, and it kind of makes sense. This is a song. It's an original that I collaborated with a buddy of mine, Joe Weber, out there. Thank you. We made a video for this song, and it's called Ghost Town, which I think is a really fitting thing right now for all of us to realize
Awesome.
that.
Take it away,
Yeah, we're basically in a ghost town right now. Here we
Stone
go.
Hart.
Thank you. I walk these empty streets, sand beneath my feet, memories of distant chat. I know I'm not alone, I can feel it in my bones, the beckoning of wayward echo. This is the time, this is the place, this is a showdown. This is a ghost town. Lost in time, lost in space. All is now gone to waste. This is the time, this is the place, this is a showdown. This is a ghost town. Remember the time, remember the place, all of the names and the faces. Remember their words, the look in their eyes, all of this lost without traces. Remember the sights, remember the sounds, all of the showdowns. This is the time, this is the place, this is a ghost town.
Stone Hart.
Thank you.
And my
Joe Weber.
dog's, yeah.
And the doggy.
And my dog Cerberus. Thank you, hon.
Cerberus. All right.
Awesome. So if there's any questions out there, Don, is anybody out there?
No, not really. We got 5 people on right now.
Oh, hey,
Oh,
everybody.
hey, right on.
Coffee time.
Coffee talk. Thank
Jessica's
you.
one of them.
Who?
Jesse.
Jessica.
Hi.
Jessica.
Everybody. So,
Jessica. Stone Song.
that's my girl. Hi, Jesse.
We love her. Thank you, Jessica, for everything.
And Bobby.
Oh, and Bobby.
Hi, Bobby. Right on. Cool. This
We've
is
had,
fun.
Barbara Edwards,
Barbara.
Barbara.
Dominic Vega,
Dominic Vega.
Dominic Viega.
Dominic.
Dominic.
He's on the
Dominic.
South Sound Blues Association.
Woo!
Oh,
Right on.
excellent. Oh, heck yeah. I think I met that guy. So cool.
Cool.
Electric Dave,
Hey,
Oh, Dave! We love the Electric
Guy
Dave.
Johnson,
all
All
right.
right. Love guy.
Thanks.
Killing guitar player.
Yeah.
Virgil,
Virgil.
All right.
and Ray. Ray
Thank you,
Stevens.
everybody.
Little Dark 30.
All right. Cool.
Cool.
Right on.
So back to you. What do you do outside music?
Wow, thank you. Well, I've been doing some projects. Pretty much, we've been building this barn. You can't really
It's
see
a
a
cool
lot
little
of it right now.
studio in here.
But this has been a green room. It's a green screen for making videos, of course. I'm sure you can see the green. It pretty much saturates everything. But now we have room to bring full bands in here and do some video projects and stuff. And I know that's still musical, but I have done a lot of painting. And see, I worked on a stairway not long ago. I helped build some decks.
So musicians are carpenters too.
Right, yeah, that's true a lot.
Jack
You
could
see
do
that
all
a lot.
trade.
Yes.
I do. I've got one of them.
I was lucky that I had 3 dads in the construction field. My
Awesome.
first dad, Bob, was a framer. My second dad, Sebastian, was a cabinet maker, and my third dad, Steve, was a painter. So I got a little bit of all that in me now. And
Wow.
so I do that kind of thing, but yeah, outside of music, that's pretty much it, you know. And try to take on little side jobs where I can, and stay busy.
Awesome. I'm gonna plug the CD some more. If it's CD Baby, is that the song is on here, huh?
Actually, Ghost Town is a single, but we'll talk about that too.
Okay.
On this record, this is 12 new songs actually, and I collaborated these
Cool,
with
cover.
a gentleman from Warner Brothers, which we could talk about at
Ah,
some point.
and I want to talk to you about that too. What's your affiliation with Columbia Records here? And,
Oh,
and
actually,
your background with
Thanks
them?
for asking. Yeah, things got really crazy over the last couple of years. I've never been approached by a major label. I don't really even know anybody who has personally, like in my friends or family. So I never really knew what questions to ask or how much to know about it. So I've been learning.
Get your foot in the door.
Good question. I'll try to make this really quick. A couple years ago, I met an awesome gentleman, Skeeter, down in Eugene, who happened to be the drummer that played on the Gloria record.
Ah,
Well, he pulled me aside and said, "Hey, Neriah, I've seen you for the last 20 years with different bands and whatnot, watching you play, and I really would like to introduce you to a good friend of mine who happens to work